English language is probably the most widespread of the spoken language in the world, and it keeps spreading. English has since a long time worked as a communication channel between nationalities and countries. Furthermore, the internet's explosions have kept it way and have probably made English even more important.
Nowadays, a lot of college courses in Sweden are given in English. As well should the reports be written in English. Moreover, has English as a business language become standard for all communication between countries. Therefore, its importance of using formal English only getting more essential, and its impact on the Swedish society cannot be overestimated.
Yet, the rules and do's and don'ts in formal English have a tendency to be easily forgotten, as well as mixed up. At least I know I have a hard time remembering them.
Therefore, is the aim of this lecture to once and for all explain the do's and don'ts in formal English. To begin with, the video is going through the main guidelines for formal writing. Then it continues by showing how to use formal writing in three important types of text.
Formal writing comes to very good use when one wants to make a serious or professional expression. And if you can manage formal writing, you would automatically have a great advantage when writing essays and exams.
Here we compare the formal writing with informal writing to highlight the differences, so you will more easily understand what formal writing is. When writing formal, it's important to have a professional language. In informal writing, you can use your everyday language, and in your everyday language you often use constructions such as he's, don't, and I'm. However, in formal writing, you should write out the whole words, which means that you write he is, do not, and I am. It's also important to use linking words. In informal language, you use your everyday linking words, for example, so, but, and so on. In formal writing, you use more appropriate linking words. For instance, however, furthermore. Try to avoid personal pronouns when writing formal. It's also important to have a clear structure, which can be done by using correct paragraphs. For instance, you should not use one-sentence paragraphs.
However, the formal writing is used differently depending on the type of the text. For example, are you allowed to be more informal in an article than an essay? And there are various rules and structures, and in every text type has its own rules regarding formal writing. Here it can get a little confusing and the rules starts to mix up. But do not worry, we're going to make this as easily as it actually is. We will give you the do's and don'ts in three types of text and share useful tips that will improve them. The free text is all used in college and work context, and you will have a great advantage knowing how to write them.
An article is a piece of writing that informs the reader about a specific topic. To begin with, an article is a formal piece of writing. However, the language must not be as formal when writing, for instance, an essay, because you have to adapt the language to the target audience. For instance, an article in a student magazine is perhaps not as formal as an article in a scientific magazine. Furthermore, an eye-catching title and an interesting start is important to catch the reader's interest and makes him or her willing to continue reading. To involve the reader, one can use question and appeal to the reader's imagination. Moreover, it is, as stated earlier, important to have a clear structure when writing a formal text. That can be done by using paragraphing. When the writer is supposed to start a new paragraph when changing the topic. Remember to support your statements with suitable facts from reliable sources to give the article a more serious and reliable impression. Lastly, it is important to finish the article with an interesting conclusion, perhaps by trying to make an impression or to make the reader continue to think about the topic even after finished reading.
An essay is a text type that almost every student at some time have written, if not several times. In an essay, you are supposed to give your opinion. A plain essay can often be to write whether or not you agree with a given statement. Here we have make a few guidelines which will help you to get a good structure and present your ideas in a great way. Overall, you always have the structure of the text in mind. A clear texture is an easy way to make an organized and understandable text. By structuring the text, it can help you bring forward your most powerful statements or arguments, as well as it becomes clearer to the reader. Structure your essay with an introduction, body, and conclusion. A wall of text is never a good sign. It easily becomes impenetrable. To organize and structure your body, use paragraphing. Moreover, linking devices is an excellent tool to combine paragraphs, and they can also be used to bring forward your ideas and points. To get the essay clear, you will need to include the statement or arguments that the essay is based on, and try to rephrase it without repeating the task. Depending on the given task, try to give a little bit of a background to both sides of the argument, or you choose to support just one side of the argument with examples. You simply take a stand. Now I will give you an example. You have been given the task to agree or disagree in your essay with: are boys more violent than girls? To get your introduction clear and structured, present the statement, take a stand, and explain briefly the background. I've written: girls and boys have always been seen differently, treated differently. While boys are loud and insane, girls are being nice and polite. Or, in this essay I am going to explain that girls can be just as violent as boys. Here is the task presented, but a little bit rephrased. And by explaining what the essay will contain, I take a stand in the text. And you will get a clear view of how the text is going to be about.
A report is a text where one tells the reader about something that's been done and give their personal opinions on what went well and what could be progressed, as well as giving suggestions and recommendations of how it can be done. It's important to have a clear structure and suitable headlines. One should start with an introduction under the headline Introduction, where one explains the aim of the report. For instance, one can begin the report by saying, the aim of this report is to, and thereafter continue in what it is about. The body of the report, which also should be divided into suitable headlines. One make a statement. This can be done by saying, it might be divisible to, or I suggest, propose, or recommend that we. The report should end with a conclusion under the headline Conclusion, where you bring up your overall statement. To make the text easy to follow, it should be written in a formal tone, with appropriate linking devices and with a clear and concise sentences.
Now we have given you the information how to write 3 types of formal text. And as you hopefully discovered, it was not as hard as it can seem to be to write formal.
To summarize this lecture for you, the most important things to remember is to always have a clear structure, to use proper linking devices, and to use correct paragraphing. Now good luck with your future formal writing.